Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Critical Reactions with your host, Bryan. We only have 2 more days left for Hip Hop Week, and today we're checking out an artist that I've heard a lot of good things about. They are Aesop Rock. Pretty excited to check this one out just to see what all the hubbub is about. We're going to be checking out a song called Cycles to Gehenna. I don't know what we're in store for, but let's check it out, see what's going on. Very abrasive beginning.
Base heads locally approach all spark plugs. Total disregard for a dying man shark jump. Post meridian, pretty tungsten attracts. Anyone's pale horse painted gun, metal black face masking. Hard shelled ebony propeller hat. Clubbins, glove breaks, grappling a clutch span. Tuck got a steel toe, metal gate spreading for the dead alive that rented parking space 37. 2,000 out the weekly under cycles to Gehenna. Gets him floating over 20 buses, fireproof and festive. Corners like a two-tired tiger, so a two-tired rider can accumulate a few excited fibers to a sign. Knows no zen in the art of maintenance. Only as the orchestrated patron saint of changing lanes, baby. Here's how a great escape goes when you can't take your dead friends' names out your phone. Eyes and teeth, new moon on a scale that defies belief. Outside what our fundamental sciences teach. Every other mighty lion asleep. Gangway, mind, eyes, mind, keep. Gangway, mind, eyes, mind, keep. Gangway, mind, eyes, mind, keep. The man
Very interesting production on that whole chorus.
Goes in water lilies, amps, grace, Geiger, and Man Ray. Crammed in a one-player campaign. Blinker like a hollow bonfire over Sam Haines' span, but I'm praying hands mandate. Bars an extension of the arms. They're mutating instead of being farmed. Tonight beneath the marmalade Venus. Haunted mowers chewing every glowing yard of mud between us. Going for Jag Dotson, Corvette Lotus. Full cones you can slalom when your Zorlax focused. Via mechanical Dartmoor, Frankenstein poorly. And sanctioned by a new Yank Yorkie who knew that any moment he could lose it to the decoupage of suicide flooring. And still he keep his fuel tank portly. The 30-odd-year-old gear stank Charlie. The scarf dank mom's new hobby. Copy. Eyes and teeth. New moon on a scale that defies belief. Outside what our fundamental sciences teach. Every other mighty lion asleep. Gangway, mind, eyes, mind, keep. Gangway, mind, eyes, mind, keep. Gangway, mind, eyes, mind, keep.
Interesting shift. Let's see if they keep this vibe.
It was less of an act of hubris, more a lonely hearts club at the helm of a magic bullet. Away on a relentless bid for rarefied inertia. Rattle trap forks married to the patchy terra firma. Ursa minor getting warmer. I crowbar into the pecking order. The dreck between the whores and Betty Borders. Hug a double yellow spine, knobby rubber like a rat on a rope. Those little fuckers run on passion alone. This is the product of a DIY inadequate home. Grabbing a cabin in the fuck of a Dodge. Acting a savage in the shadows of Rome. Traffic amassed against insufferable odds. Fashioning gallows out of plastic and bone. I got the motor drone, walls of death splintering under me. All city galvanized bikes, white knuckling. Bright light tunnel kings tucking the devil. P.S. I wrote this on a self-destructing memo.
I'm at a bit of a loss here. So, much like Kendrick Lamar's work, this one tends to stick with a single musical vibe for the entire track, pairs it down a little bit for the hook, and then brings it back for the verses. Just, two ideas jumping back and forth. Very different from yesterday's Little Sims that had musical diversity and melodic diversity. I was looking for another word there. I think it's going to work. Integral to the song itself. Dynamic elements in the music were present all throughout the track. This one sticks with a single drum beat, whatever you want to call it, underneath the lyrics. It really does put the spotlight more on the rapping itself. However, I do want to poke attention towards this has me so flabbergasted. I really don't know where I'm going with this, but we'll see what happens. I want to put a spotlight on the chorus real quick because there is an electric guitar there. We saw it at the beginning as well. In fact, I think it came in with the verse one, where the electric guitar, was being played. I think it's really interesting. It's called Aesop Rock, and I don't think I was expecting rock aspects in the song, and maybe that's just a coincidence. I don't. I think I've heard some Aesop Rock before. Let me check this real quick. No, they've not been on the channel, but I do know that there are a lot of Aesop Rock fans in the community, and I'm pretty sure I've been directed to listen to one, and I think I did on my own time, one or two tracks from them. I don't remember electric guitar, so I think it's interesting that they're present here. I'm going to assume that it's not their typical thing and that it has something to do with the song. It works in thematically. There's also the beginning of the song that was very abrasive. We come from silence into noises, right? Single tones that sort of, become other tones, and it just kind of bounces around a little bit before we find that electric guitar and dive into the beat proper when we hit the first verse. Now, aside from these elements, the electric guitar, some of the noisiness going on, I don't really see anything else that really goes along here other than verse 3. Really get more vulnerable, right? We shift down the piano, we get rid of a lot of the electronic aspects, and it's more of a quieter vibe. The vocals don't change though; they still have that raw, powerful chest voice that Aesop Rock has. It's a bit lower end, and it commands, right? I haven't really dug into his lyrics yet. I had them nearby when we were watching the video together, but I was kind of bouncing back and forth between it and the video, and there's definitely going to be some really strong lyrical work here, but I really want to focus right here on his vocals, right? The way that his voice sounds. There's this depth and command to it. It's a very powerful, wide sound. Some of it is just going to be the range itself. He has a bit of a lower tone to his voice, but there's also just a lot of conviction in the way that he says things. There's not a lot of speed to his rapping. It's more about taking his time to allow the words that he says to resonate and to occasionally emphasize specific syllables, but never really moments where he speeds things up. He kind of slows it down a little bit, and it reminds me a bit of Clipping's style, the vocalist from Clipping, his style of rap as well. It's more about allowing the syllables and words themselves to linger, for the thoughts to have time to marinate a little bit. It's still rap. We're still moving from one idea to the next. And it's not like we are, saying two words and then pausing and then holding out some notes. It still has more of a spoken word flow to it. It follows the meter of speech in a way. We don't typically just hold out notes so that you can remember what's being said, right? It's not normal to do that, but it is a slower kind of rapping that I think places a lot of emphasis on specific lines more so than trying to get as much flow out and being technical about it. And I love technical rapping. There's it's really cool for the same reasons that I like tech death, right? There's the spectacle to it, watching somebody push the human body to its limits, and then there's also just the musical side of it, listening to the ways that they manipulate time and meter to create these specific patterns, right? So there's definitely something cool about technical rapping, but that's not what this is about, and I think it's important to focus on sort of the slowness of the way that Aesop raps. Um, and I think we're going to get into that in a bit, and see if the lyrics have anything that tie into that. But I do think it's just his style, right? So let's get into these lyrics, see what's going on. I'm going to tell you, I was a bit confused following along. Maybe as I read them and speak them with my own voice, something might trigger, but I don't know. So he says, verse 1, bass heads locally approach all spark plugs, total disregard for a dying man's shark jump, post meridium pretty tungsten attracts any once pale horse painted gunmetal black face masking hard shelled ebony propeller hat, clubman's gloved rakes grappling the clutch span, tucked to the stow teal metal gate spreading for the dead alive that rented parking space 37. Okay, so right here off the bat, I don't know that I would have picked up on any of this if not for the video. The music video dances between two ideas: motorcycles and ballet. And interestingly, the ballet dancers are kind of put up into a bit of post-apocalyptic counterculture kind of thing. And I might be reading into this. Maybe we'll find some of this in here. But to me, the music video seems to be correlating the beauty of ballet with some sort of gritty element of motorcycling, right? So the motorcycle juxtaposes the ballet, but the ballet dancers also put on, grease paint, and they wear all black instead of more traditional white or pink um, uh, dresses, leotards. I don't know what those things are called actually. Um, but yeah, so it kind of makes the ballet a little grittier. We get the grease paint and the darker colors. And then we also have the ideas, the gracefulness and the beauty of ballet being shown right next to motorcycling. So I think what this is trying to talk about is some sort of beauty or grace or something that we would typically describe as ballet as, and applying that to motorcycle stuff, right? Especially since right off the bat we talk about spark plugs. And again, if I hadn't watched the music video, I might be lost on a lot of this, but coming into it believing that it's about motorcycles, I'm picking up on some ideas. I don't think I'm getting everything. Like bass heads, don't know, but they approach spark plugs with a total disregard for a dying man's shark jump. I mean, jumping the shark just means like the point where someone's career, it's the point where it goes downhill, right? When you've passed the high point and now you're on the decline. So, a dying man's shark jump, total. Is he saying like, because if they're approaching his spark plugs, I mean, that would be his motorcycle, right? They're trying to disassemble his motorcycle, take pieces off of it. So they're going against this dying man's shark jump. He wants to get past this hurdle of his midpoint of his life, I suppose. Post meridium pretty tungsten, I don't know what that is, attracts once pale horse painted gunmetal black. I don't know, face masking hard shelled ebony propeller hat. So a hard shelled ebony, I'm going to guess, is the motorcycle helmet, right? There's a lot of black elements going on in here. The black jacket, the black gloves, the black motorcycle, the black helmet. I might have said that already. The black leotards or dresses, tutus, whatever they were wearing. The black grease paint. Like, black is a very huge visual aspect of this music video. So to pull this up, I'm pretty sure hard-shelled ebony propeller hat is talking about the helmets. He says clubman's gloved rakes grappling the clutch span. Interesting, gloved rakes grappling the clutch span, something you hold with your hand, I believe. I'm not a motorcycle dude. I'm really trying Really trying to grasp the lingo here. But, gloves go over your hands. And I think it's interesting he says gloved rakes because, like, rakes have fingers, I suppose you could say. It's an interesting visual way of talking about this. He says, tuck go to the steel toe, metal gate spreading for the dead alive that rented parking space 37. The dead alive, I think, goes back to the idea about a dying man. This is somebody who believes he's on the end of his life, right? He's reached his pinnacle already. He's jumped the shark, or he's trying to jump the shark. He's trying to get to the downward part of his life. He calls himself the dead alive. So basically, all this is just a lot to say that this dude likes motorcycles. That's what I'm getting out of it. Says 2,000 out the weekly under cycles to Gehenna gets him floating over 20 buses, fireproof and festive. Floating over 20 buses. I mean, is that like, I mean, motorcycle jumping, right? That's kind of the thing there, Evil Knievel style. But I'm not sure what that has to relate to anything else other than the fact that it's just motorcycles. Corners like a two-tired tiger, so a two-tired rider can accumulate a few excited fibers to a sign. I'm, I'm telling you, man, this is what I love most about it, even though I don't understand half of what any of these rappers have talked about this week. And I'm really only getting the global ideas, not really understanding nuance, just kind of, you know, getting bits and pieces and saying, "Oh, this is probably the message." And I've been fairly accurate, which I'm happy about. I'm a musical guy, not a poetic lyrical guy. I'm doing my best here. Um, but just the way that they flow syllables, like I mentioned yesterday, I think it was yesterday, the way that these people just make words feel like they're rolling off the tongue, like it just seems very effortless for these words to be next to each other, that it almost feels like they didn't need to write it, right? This is just how the words naturally wish to be aligned for the least amount of resistance. It is phenomenal. So I don't know what that says, but the idea of a two-tired tiger, so a two-tired rider can accumulate a few excited fibers, just keeping that rhythm, that rhythmic cadence going along with all those soft rhymes, so good. Knows no zen in the art of maintenance, only as the orchestrated patron saint of changing lanes, baby. Here's how a great escape goes when you can't take your dead friends' names out of your phone. So he says that this motorcyclist doesn't like maintaining his motorcycle, repairing it, keeping it in tip top shape kind of thing, only likes driving it. He finds the zen in riding it, right? He says, here's how a great escape goes. So, whatever, I mean, this person seems to be trying to escape the pain of having a loved one lost. He says he can't take his dead friend's name out of his phone, so this is how his escape is going from that, right? He's just getting on a motorcycle and driving, right? Letting the road take him. Here comes the chorus, eyes and teeth, new moon on a scale that defies belief. Nice little rhyme. I'm not quite sure I get that one. I mean, obviously he's out at night and the new moon is just bigger than ever, or it feels bigger than ever. Outside what our fundamental sciences teach, every other mighty lion asleep. I don't know about the sciences. It could just, I mean, the thing about the mighty lion asleep just says that when he's out riding his motorcycle so late because the moon is up, that no one else is out there with him. It's so late that the traffic is empty. Gangway, mine eyes, mine teeth. I mean, I guess he's just saying get out of the way. These are my eyes and my teeth. I don't know. I mean, the eyes, because like he's obviously talking about this is my motorcycle, this is my ride, get out of my way, let me go, kind of thing, right? I mean, like I could kind of see the eyes. Maybe he's making an illusion because he already said something about a tiger. He's talking about lions here. It's he's kind of alluding to his ride as this beast, right? This majestic animal. And it's possible the headlights are could kind of be seen as eyes. I'm not getting the teeth though. I'm not sure where that comes in, but maybe he had a specific image in mind. Maybe he's talking about something completely different. Maybe he's talking about the writer himself. I don't know. The man ape translates. We're in verse 2 now. The man ape translates glam through the visor, goes in water lilies, Amscrays, Geiger, and Man Ray crammed in a one-player campaign. Yeah, the only thing I'm really getting out of here is that he's by himself. He does this alone, right? All the other stuff kind of lost to me. Crammed in a one-player campaign, though, all these feelings and ideas and thoughts that he has are all just his, right? He goes out into the road and he just drives by himself. No one else is with him. Blinker like a hollowed bonfire over Samhain, span where the praying hands mandate, bars and extension of the arms. That one I get, right? The motorcycle bars, the handlebars, they're just part of the arm, right? That makes the bike an extension of the self, so to speak. They're mutating instead of being farmed. I wonder if that is an allusion to work, right? That he's becoming one with the motorcycle instead of using his arms for manual labor kind of vibe. Tonight beneath a marmalade Venus, haunted mowers chewing every glowing yard of mud between us. Going Ford, Jag, Datsun, Corvette, Lotus, those are all cars. All cones you can slalom when you're Zorlax focused. So slalom, I think, is when you have like a row of cones and you like zoom in left and right going between them. He's just saying that. I think what he's saying is that while he's driving, there's nothing else out there. He's so focused on the ride itself that his mind is clear. All these other things that are there around him in his vicinity, in his mind, everything's just a blank slate. He's just enjoying the ride. Who knew that any moment he could lose it to the decopagued suicide flooring? And still he kept his fuel tank portly, the 30-odd-year-old gears thank Charlie, the scarf thank Mom's new hobby. Copy. So who knew that any moment he could lose it? So I guess that talks about the dangers of riding a motorcycle. One crash and that could be it. There's less safety with motorcycles than cars, I suppose. I don't know if that's 100% true, but that's kind of my vibe because cars have airbags and motorcycles tend to eject you. Road rash and all that stuff as you get thrown without any vehicle under you. You just kind of meet the pavement with whatever momentum you had. Yeah, I don't know the stats though. Death by or death of car drivers versus death of motorcycle drivers, and like the percentage of survival rate for the two vehicles. But that's kind of what I think he's alluding to. Call it the suicide flooring. That at any moment he could lose control of the bike, and you know there would be actually even that's it, lose control of the bike. It's not like a manslaughter thing, right? Where he got hit by another car. This is suicide. There was no other thing. And it's loosely titled suicide, of course. It's not like he intentionally killed himself, but there was no other acting force. You just lose control of the bike and it flips you or whatever, and you end up dying from the accident. He says, but because of that, he keeps his fuel tank high. He knows what the risks are, but he keeps going with it. To verse 3, which I think is the final one, this is where the music quieted down a bit. Got real vulnerable, got real quiet. And I think this is supposed to be more introspective. We'll see. It was less of an act of hubris, more a lonely heart's club at the helm of a magic bullet. So there we go again, talking about how motorcycles can. Well, the bullet part is both about the speed of the bike, but also about the fact that they're dangerous, right? We were just talking about that one small slip up could be the end of your life. He calls it a lonely hearts club. He already said he rides alone, right? And he's trying to escape some stuff that happened. It's a magic bullet away on a relentless bid for rarefied inertia. So trying to find that momentum, right? Rattletrap forks married to the patchy terra firma Ursa Minor getting warmer. I crowbar into the pecking order. The Drex between the whores and Betty Forders hug a double yellow spine. Ooh. Oh, this is the first one I got in a while. The double yellow spine must be the double yellow line in the middle of a road that separates the two directions of traffic. Um, and crowbar into the pecking order. I wonder if that has to do with like traffic, right? You got traffic backed up, and instead of sitting in line, some motorcyclists go between the cars to cut to the front of the line, to crowbar into the pecking order. He hugs the double yellow spine. Knobby rubber like a rat on a rope, so I think that's his wheel on this yellow line, kind of, if he veers too far to one side, that could be a pretty nasty accident hitting oncoming traffic. This is the product of a DIY inadequate home, grabbing a cabin in a get out of Dodge, acting a savage in the shadows of Rome, traffic amassed against insufferable odds. Fashioning gallows out of plastic and bone, I got the motordrome walls of deaths splintering under me. All city galvanized bikes white knuckling. Bright light tunnel kings tuck in the devil. P.S. I wrote this on a self-destructing memo. Yeah, I got nothing out of this. I, I really need y'all's help here. I think like the bringing this back into the music, right? We have electronic elements in here, sort of metallic clang. We have some noisy bits. We have electric guitar. I think all of this kind of works at giving the vibe of the motorcycle, right? This machine that a lot of hip hop typically doesn't utilize these sounds for. It's more about creating the beat, right? And I think this one specifically creates a beat with sounds that work well at visualizing a motorcycle, or at least can be attributed to a motorcycle. So I wonder if that was intentional. Again, I don't know if the electric guitar is utilized often in Aesop's music, but I do think it's interesting that it's there, right? I think it works well with this concept of talking about getting on a motorcycle and, driving just to kind of forget about life for a little bit. Um, but other than that, like, I don't think I have much of a reading on this at all. I kind of get the overall vibe here, right? We have a dude who is possibly ready for death. I think that might be the reading of a dying man's shark jump, not necessarily trying to get to the downward trend of life, but at a point where they don't care if they live or die. Maybe they have nothing else to live for, so they kind of take the gamble on the motorcycle, driving it blisteringly fast. As he said later on, he says, white knuckled. All city galvanized bikes white knuckling. Just holding on to the handlebars so tightly because you're going that fast and just enjoying the rush. He said something about an inertia that you can't, yeah, a rarefied inertia. And, just kind of taking that gamble, accepting the rush of this vibe, just going so fast through the city at night, no one else is out there, but understanding that it's a tightrope. And maybe that's walking the yellow line there at the end, that at any moment this could go south, right? And just kind of riding that gamble. And maybe that's the self-destructing memo at the end. He says, I wrote this on a self-destructing memo. I wrote this, about a bike, about being on a bike, and it's possible that it could kill me one day. But I can't get away from it because it makes me feel alive kind of vibe. That's what I'm getting out of this. I missed a lot of nuance in this reading, and I'm hoping you guys can help me with that. But I think I got the gist of this. This is certainly my least confident lyrical analysis of the week. And I think that's saying something because I did a pretty good job on this too, I think. There's a lot of stuff I missed, but I'm pretty sure I got the main gist. Anyways, that's where you guys come in. Hit me up in the comments. Let me know what you thought of this track. If there's anything that stood out to you, anything that you think I missed. I missed a lot. So if you are able to help patch in these holes that I'm missing and give me a better understanding of the lyrical work here, hit me up with that, please. All right. Yeah. When you're done commenting, head up to the description box and there's a link for Linktree. It'll take you to this menu right here. Has everything related to the channel. You can pick up some merch. You can join the Patreon and vote on future themes and songs. You can submit special selections. Follow me on Twitter, join the Discord, all sorts of stuff. Above that, like, subscribe, and ring the bell. I greatly appreciate all three of those. We also have a special selection coming up. It just aired actually 11 seconds ago. If you're interested, go check that out. Otherwise, I'll be back tomorrow, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 9 p.m. UTC. We'll be looking at our final hip hop track for the week and a creator request. All right, until next time, remember to be critical but not cynical of the music you listen to, and have a fantastic morning, afternoon, or evening whenever you choose to watch my videos.